everybody. Welcome back to Goodnight Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy, and I'm here to read you another story. And I have another book from a friend that I know and you know, one of my favorite friends. I got a book from Malachi in Pennsylvania. Hi, Malachi. Miss Dorothy was so excited to get a book from you. I haven't heard from you in a little while, so I was really, really glad when I got your note. And I really like this book. This book is called Who Wants Arthur? Who Wants Arthur? This is a book about a dog who's in a pet shop waiting for somebody to come pick him. And nobody picks him, so he keeps acting like all the other animals. But he learns a very important lesson. And we need to get inside this book and find out what it is. Are you ready to get into Malachi's book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up, because here we go. Who Wants Arthur? Story by Amanda Graham. Pictures by Donna Gynell. Arthur was a very ordinary dog. He lived in Mrs. Humper's pet shop with many other animals. But Arthur was the only dog. All the other dogs had been sold because dogs were very popular. Well, all the dogs except Arthur. He was just an ordinary brown dog who dearly wanted a home with a pair of old slippers to chew. Poor Arthur, he lives in a pet shop and nobody wants to take him home. On Monday morning, Mrs. Humper put some rabbits in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog. Everybody wanted rabbits. So that night, when all was quiet, Arthur practiced being a rabbit. Oh no, he can't be a rabbit, he's a dog. He practiced eating carrots and poking out his front teeth and making his ears stand up straight. He practiced very hard until he was sure he could be a rabbit. Are they going to think he's a rabbit? The next morning, Mrs. Humper put some snakes in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog, not even one who acted like a rabbit. Everybody wanted snakes. So that night, when all was quiet, Arthur practiced being a snake. Oh no, he can't be a snake and he can't be a rabbit. He has to be a dog. He practiced hissing and slithering and sliding and looking cool. He practiced very hard until he was sure he could be a snake. No, Arthur, no. The next morning, Mrs. Humper put some fish in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, all except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog, not even one who acted like a rabbit and a snake. Everybody wanted a fish. So that night, when all was quiet, Arthur practiced being a fish. He can't be a fish. He practiced swimming and blowing bubbles and breathing underwater. He practiced very hard until he was sure he could be a fish. He cannot be a fish. The next morning, Mrs. Humper put some cats in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog, not even one who acted like a rabbit and a snake and a fish. Everybody wanted cats. Arthur felt he would never find a home with a pair of old slippers to chew. Poor Arthur, he doesn't know what to do. The next morning, Mrs. Humper put the rest of her pets in the window. There were 2 hamsters, a cage of mice, 3 canaries, a blue parakeet, a green frog, 1 sleepy lizard, and Arthur. Arthur jumped on lily pads, squeaked and nibbled cheese, purred, croaked, and even tried to fly. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. He tried to be a frog and a mouse. Oh, my! He had collapsed, exhausted, in the corner of the window. Now he was certain he would never find a home, whether he was a rabbit, a snake, a fish, a cat, or a purple-spotted 3-headed donkey. Arthur decided that he might as well just be an ordinary brown dog. That's right, Arthur, just be a dog. Late that afternoon, as Mrs. Humper was closing the shop, a man came in with his granddaughter. Excuse me, he said. Melanie tells me that you have a rather extraordinary dog who performs all sorts of tricks." "Oh, the only dog I have," replied Mrs. Humber, "is Arthur. She doesn't know Arthur can do all those things." "There he is, Grandpa, in the window!" cried Melanie. She rushed to pick up Arthur, who gave her the biggest, wettest, doggiest lick ever. "At last, Arthur knew he had found a home! Melanie wants to take Arthur home!" With a pair of old slippers to chew. "Yay! Arthur found a home! Somebody came into the pet store and picked Arthur. He was in there for a long time and he didn't think any of the kids were going to pick him. They kept picking other pets. So he started to act like the other pets. He can't act like a fish or a hamster or a cat. He can't act like another pet. He's a dog. And nobody wants a dog that acts like a fish. That would be silly." Arthur found out that the best way to become somebody's friend is to just act like a dog. Just be Arthur. And when he just decided to be a brown dog, because that's what he is, then somebody came and picked him and took him home, and now he has somebody to love forever. This was a really great book, Malachi. Thank you so much for sending it to Miss Dorothy. It made me really, really happy because it teaches us a really important lesson. We don't need to act like somebody that we're not in order to get friends. No, you just need to be who you are. You need to be who God made you. God made you very, very special. And if somebody's going to be your friend, they're going to be your friend because of who you are, not because of who they think you should be or how you think you should be. Just be yourself. Be what God made you to be. Be what your mom and dad are raising you to be. Be a good boy or a good girl. And really, really, really make good friends. Friends that will love you for who you are. That's an important lesson. Arthur learned it. We learned it all because of Malachi's book. So I'm really, really happy we got to read it together. Now remember, you can send me a book just like Malachi did. I have lots of friends sending me books these days, and it makes me really, really happy when I hear from you. So ask your mom if you could send me a note. Tell me what book you want me to read. I'll go find it, and I'll read it to you, because that's one of my favorite things to do. I love reading to my favorite friends, and that is you. Now, you make sure that you do everything you're supposed to do. And when mom and dad, when you ask them if you can send me a book, whatever they say, obey. And obey right away. And then come back and see Miss Dorothy, because I'm going to be sitting right here ready to read another book to you. Bye! Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book. And I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.